So welcome to another edition of Left versus Right. Anthony Weiner on the left, Dominic Carter on the right. Dominic, did you have a nice Flag Day yesterday?
I did.
It's the one thing we can agree upon. Flag Day is the day when you go out and beat the crap out of anyone carrying a Hamas flag. That's what you do on Flag Day.
We should do that every day.
We should do that every day. So welcome back. So the news of the week, something we kind of saw coming. Hunter Biden is guilty. I'm sure you saw the Democratic protests. I'm sure you saw the fundraising emails. I'm sure you saw Democrats saying it's unfair, the system is rigged. Nope, none of that. The system worked. He was found guilty. It might be overturned on appeal, but the difference, Democrats believe in the system. I assume you do now also.
First of all, I turned on News Nation the other night, and who was on? Anthony Weiner.
Nobody ever sees me on basic cable. They only hear me here and on YouTube when our show is on.
Okay. So let's pretend.
Well, you're complaining about exposure. You're on round the clock. You're on at 3 o'clock. You're on at midnight. You're on here on Saturdays. You're on Sundays. Don't you ever sleep, my brother?
Yes. So wait, let's get to the issue at hand.
Hunter Biden.
So I know you're joking, right? Because the issue becomes, what happened to the sweetheart deal that would have gone through if the federal judge didn't block it for Hunter Biden?
But you know the deal wasn't stopped because the penalties were too light. The deal was stopped because they couldn't agree whether they could keep investigating. He's going to get the exact same sentence.
Well, that's what you say.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out when it gets sentenced. But he was found guilty of the exact same crimes. He was already. This is one of the reasons why the case was kind of a foregone conclusion. He already admitted he got the gun and didn't check the right box. I mean,
so then if that's the case, why did he go to trial?
He went to trial because the plea bargain was thrown out. 99.99% of these cases never come to trial. They just agree, and they agree on the penalty. Right. It happens all the time. You guys wanted a show trial? You got a show trial. But, here's the difference between Democrats and Republicans.
Really?
Do you see the Democrats whining and complaining about how unfair it is? Oh, and I have a question for you, Dominic.
Okay.
What happened to the Joe Biden politicizing the Justice Department?
Okay, well, first of all, Hunter Biden and the gun issue and the tax trial to come, we can agree that's just scratching the surface, right? We can agree on that, right?
Well, the prosecutors looked for 5 years and hasn't brought any other charges.
We don't know how far this goes and how far this may connect.
How long has Weiss been investigating it?
No, it doesn't matter how long.
I'll tell you, 6 years.
Okay.
This is it, my brother. This is it. Or else they wouldn't have been ready to enter into a plea bargain. They don't have anything else.
But the special prosecutor can only go as far as Merrick Garland, the attorney general.
That's not true. The special prosecutor has testified in Congress that no one slowed me up at all.
The attorney general has to sign off on almost everything.
Incorrect. That's not the way the special prosecutor law works. He gets the authority, and then the only thing that has to get signed off on is whether the report is released to Congress. That's the only thing. After that, the guy's got...
Okay.
And by the way, you know who else said he had independence? The Republican Weiss, who's doing the prosecuting, says, I've got complete independence when he appeared before Congress.
What else do you expect for him to say? What you think? I mean, you think?
So we can't believe what the court said. We can't believe what he said. All we have to believe is what? Some fantasy you have that after 6 years you're going to find something else.
No.
Hey, Dominic, at a certain point, you got to say, okay, there's no there.
No.
Everyone else has admitted it. That's why your yahoos in Congress have given up the idea of doing an impeachment.
No. The reason why they're really not doing impeachment is because the votes are not there in the Senate, and you know it. And you know
they don't have it in the House. They can't pass it in the House. They pass things one House bills all the time. They don't have it in the House. There's no high crime and misdemeanor, my friend.
Okay.
If you can name one, you can do something that no member of Congress has been able to do.
Let's go back. Hunter Biden, right? The laptop and ties to his father. What was his father involved with? What type of business deals? You know all of that
6 years. They've been looking into it for 6 years.
Okay.
If you don't have it by now, and by the way, do you know what this laptop has produced as far as this court case is concerned? Bupkis. Look, the court case, here's what the laptop showed. Hunter Biden trading on his father's name, doing business deals, being an embarrassing drunk.
It took me a minute to warm up here as I just thought about this. By the way,
you want us to start fresh?
First of all,
by the way, I come ready to rumble at moment one.
First of all, you had a great show today.
Thank you, sir.
So let's deal with the positive. And now you got me going. The juices are flowing.
That's better. That's better. That's the Dominic we want.
Hunter Biden, right? This situation with his dad, we don't know how far this really goes, right? Number one. Number two, you're saying that Democrats are not not complaining about the system.
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't, because the evidence was overwhelming against Hunter Biden.
Just like it was for Donald Trump.
That's
we
where I was
suddenly
going.
believing evidence, huh?
Wait, you're gonna
You don't believe in evidence?
Wait a minute. You're gonna sit here and tell me the evidence was overwhelming against Trump?
Apparently,
wait. Are you gonna say that with a straight face?
A jury came back within 36 hours.
No. The jury gives out basically what they're given. Are you
Sounds like a moving target to me. Do you believe in the criminal justice system or not, or only for Hunter Biden, but you don't believe in it for Donald Trump? Is that the summary?
No, the summary is that Trump got noosed in court. And Hunter Biden...
Same system, my pal.
And Hunter Biden...
Same exact system.
Hunter Biden got what was evident and obvious to everyone.
So the criminal justice system worked for Hunter, it didn't work for Donald. Is that your summary? Very convenient explanation. So if the criminal justice system worked for Hunter, which is what we're talking about right now, then we all say, fine, the system worked, right? We're no longer complaining. And by the way, didn't I just ask you a question? You've been saying that or maybe you haven't been saying this, but people are saying Joe Biden criminalizing the criminal justice system, manipulating it at every turn, making it do what it wants to do. You really think that Joe Biden wanted his son found guilty of a felony? That's ridiculous. So you can't have it both ways.
Wait a minute. It wouldn't be convenient politically for Biden if his son is convicted? It wouldn't be convenient.
You think a father wants to...
Come on, are you going to stand here and play this game?
I'm open to it. Wait. How is it convenient to have your son convicted?
In terms of with the justice system under attack for what it did to Trump, to be able to say equal justice under the law, my own son was prosecuted, and I am not going to... And I am not going to pardon him, and I'm not going to commute his sentence. You don't think it's convenient for Biden?
Let me see if I got this right.
I guess I'm not going to get an answer.
No, I'm doing it. Here's my answer. Here's my answer. I want to see if I've got this right. You're saying that Joe Biden arranged for his son to be guilty of a felony.
No.
Okay. All right.
No. What I'm saying is, once his son was going to be charged, after the sweetheart deal was revealed...
He was pleading guilty in that sweetheart deal, my friend.
Okay. With no jail time. Not going to
be jail time here either.
That's what you say. That's what you say.
People don't get jail time for not checking the box.
That's what you say. We'll see what they
Even Lindsey Graham says no one should get prosecuted for this.
Okay.
You know how many people are going to wind up going to prison if you start throwing people to prison for not checking an ATF box?
In jail right now
for not checking it. That's not. We've covered this before. But wait a minute. I just want to make sure I understand this. I'm doing my best to keep a straight face because you know how fond I am of you.
Okay.
You're saying that as part of this grand conspiracy, Joe Biden arranged with this Republican prosecutor who was appointed by Donald Trump to send his son to prison or to find him guilty of a felony because it's good politically. You cannot possibly believe that.
First of all, you're putting words in my mouth.
Oh, I thought that's what I just summarized, and you said
what I believe is that once it was inevitable that his son was going to be tried, whether the president of the United States wanted it or not.
So
his son. Well, let me
he fixed the jury. Then Joe Biden fixed the jury.
Let me just finish. Once it was clear that his son was going to be tried, you cannot. You're going to stand here and tell me there's no political benefit to Mr. Biden with his son being convicted? There's no political.
Okay.
Can you answer my question?
No. How is it beneficial how's it beneficial?
I just told you.
So Donald Trump can now stand on the debate stage in a couple of weeks and say, well, your son is a felon too. How is that? And by the way, no father wants his son to be guilty of a felony. You can't possibly believe this. This is the problem. You and your Republican friends are tied in knots trying to figure out what you believe about the criminal justice system. First, it's throw the book at bad guys. Then it's don't throw the book at our bad guy. Then it's prosecute Hunter Biden. Prosecute Hunter Biden. I've been hearing it for the top of the treetops, hearing after hearing, the Comer and everything else. Let me finish. Okay. Comer and everyone else, hearings after hearings. Oh, the Biden crime family and everything else. And then we got him on forgetting to check a box on an application. Hurrah. And now it's, well, Joe Biden worked that out. Oh, this is insane now.
So he forgot to check a box? Is that what Hunter did?
He was found guilty of not checking checking a box that's saying he wasn't on drugs when actually he was.
Right, so that's lying.
Yeah,
Mr.
he was found guilty of lying.
Right, no. Notice how you minimize that.
I said he found guilty. I've been saying it for months.
Wait. You do understand there's a reason why we don't want people with guns that may
is there now? Tell me more about that. Should we have restrictions on guns?
I'm a supporter of the Second Amendment.
So we should have restrictions on guns, right?
I believe we should.
Okay, so we should have restrictions on, say, on machine guns, AK-47s?
In my opinion, yes.
Okay. Should we have restrictions on whether people who have domestic violence complaints
Yes.
against them? 100%.
Yes.
So why did your president put people on the Supreme Court that threw out all those rules, including the restrictions on bump stocks that killed people in Las Vegas?
Well, here's the difference.
That's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. We want reasonable controls. And congratulations, welcome to our team.
Here's the difference. Mr. Trump told you the people that he was going to put on the court beforehand.
Yeah, but they all lied when they testified.
Okay, but in other words, he ran on and he made it clear who he would put on the court, so the American people knew in advance. I call that refreshing.
Well, listen, if you believe that giving the Federalist Society the keys to the kingdom and saying, look, Donald Trump was responsible for overturning Roe v. Wade, agree? You just explained it yourself. You said he told you what he was going to do. Right. Do you agree? Right. So he's responsible for that.
No. I agree. I didn't agree about the Roe v. Wade, that Trump is responsible for that.
He said himself he is. He said, thank me for it. What do you mean, nah? He says those words himself. If we played cuts in this thing, I can do it in a heartbeat.
Okay.
He also is the person that said he's proud to have the support of the Southern Baptists who are against in vitro fertilization. So now
and he's also said, boy, you Democrats love to focus on abortion. Why don't you ever want to talk about crime?
I talked about guns just now.
No. Crime. That Democrats let
Did the guy commit? Let me ask you: did the guy that shot up 56 people in Las Vegas from a hotel room, was that a crime? Yes, we want to keep guns out of the criminals' hands. What do you want to do? By the way, the police want to keep the guns out of the criminals' hands too, but not you Republicans. You want bump stocks to be legal. How does that feel?
Can you focus on the fact that you have district attorneys from coast to coast that are progressives that are acting more as social workers than fighting crime?
You yourself just said fewer guns on the streets would be better. That's what they're fighting for. They want fewer guns on the streets. Your Second Amendment guys, Donald Trump.
Weiner won't answer that question.
I'm telling you that Donald Trump says I want to have more high-powered rifles on the streets, and those reform prosecutors that you're talking about want them off the streets. Whose side are you on? You just said you're on the side of getting the guns off the streets, and you're right about that, by the way. You and Alvin Bragg together at once want that to happen, and not Donald Trump. You're with Bragg on this.
You really shouldn't mention Alvin Bragg.
You're with Bragg on this.
You really shouldn't.
You're with the reform prosecutors.
You really shouldn't.
That's where they are on the gun issue. That's where you are, and where Americans are. Where people watching this don't believe we should have bump stocks. That's where those prosecutors are.
Mr. Weiner, you can talk a mile a minute. It doesn't change the fact that Trump did not receive a fair trial. Hunter Biden did. To say that those two cases are equal is ridiculous. And for you to say Democrats are not saying anything in terms of the system, well, you shouldn't say anything.
We're not fundraising off it. We're not talking down. We're not saying that the country's a hellhole. We're not saying that we live in a banana republic. We love our country. We love this flag, not like your guy who talks it down every single day.
Mr. Trump is a patriot. He's an outstanding American, and it's as simple as
Well, at least he served his country. Oh, wait a minute. He didn't. He actually bought his way out of service. Very nice. Didn't he call veterans suckers? And didn't he say he didn't like a senator because he was taking prisoners? He says, I don't like senators that are taken, I don't like people that get taken hostage.
Right.
Disgusting.
But can you focus on Democrats fighting crime?
Sorry.
Notice you.
Yes. I'll focus on that.
Taking all these cheap, petty shots at Trump.
By the way, you see the FBI statistics this week. Crime is down again for the fourth straight quarter.
Mr. Weiner,
that's amazing.
Mr. Weiner,
let's say congratulations. Must be all those Democratic prosecutors.
Can we talk about something seriously?
Nah, listen. You change the subject as many times you want. I'm ready for you. I'm right here.
An election year, and you're citing FBI stats that crime are down. Go out on the street and ask 5 people.
Who reports the stats?
Excuse me.
Who reports the stats?
Go out on the street and ask 5 people if crime is down.
Instead, why don't I ask police? If 481 police agencies around the country, majority of which are Republican, report those stats. Come on, Dominic. You say you don't believe the stats. I don't believe the courts. I don't believe anything. I don't believe anything anymore.
Mr. Weiner, is crime down in New York City?
Crime down? It's down in New York City. That's one of the cities that it's down in.
Mr. Weiner, I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself. Is crime down in New York City?
Crime is down in New York City. It hit its high. It's high post-COVID. It's been coming down ever since.
You
don't believe? What is it? Listen, you don't believe the hardworking men and women of the NYPD who report those stats?
I love the hardworking men and women of the NYPD.
You don't like the hardworking men and women of the Nassau and Suffolk County police departments?
I do.
Those are down also. You don't like the hardworking men and women of the FBI? They report stats also.
Right.
I just say, why is it you don't like your country?
But you know that stats can be manipulated. You know that.
These are the same stats that Donald Trump used when they were good for him.
Mr. Weiner,
the same stats that Rudy Giuliani used when it was good for him.
Mr. Weiner,
the only one shifting the goalposts here is you and your Republican friends.
Mr. Weiner, the city is going down the drain.
I know. We live in a hellhole like Milwaukee. I hear Milwaukee is a hellhole also.
Mr. Weiner.
Is that where you guys are having your convention?
Yes.
What is wrong with your candidate? He trash talks the place in battleground Wisconsin. You're going to a convention in Wisconsin and you say it's a dump. But then again, he also calls our country a hellhole.
But you know what? And it's not.
Our country is not. This is the greatest country on the face of the earth. If you don't like it, you and your candidate can get out of here.
Mr. Weiner, with all these migrants, with Americans losing out because of these migrants,
yeah,
you're going to
we're a great country. We're a great country. We're a great country.
We have to be honest at some point.
We are a great country, and I will never stop believing it.
At some point.
We are, and we'll be right back on Left versus Right. So welcome back with Left versus Right. Anthony Weiner on your left, Dominic Carter on your right. If you miss any part of this, you can get it as a podcast. Also, please tune into Dominic's shows, not only here on Saturdays, but also 3 o'clock every weekday and at midnight every weekday. So you get plenty of Dominic, and also you have a Sunday show as well. Is that right?
Yes, 11 p.m. But before you get back into your Democratic nonsense,
yes,
I want to say to you, Happy Father's Day. What are you doing tomorrow?
I'm going to wait and see what Jordan has. You know, to be honest with you, if I just get a chance just to hang out with him a little bit, he's at that age where like hanging out with dad is not so great, but we'll see. I have a fantasy about going down to Sheepshead Bay and doing some fishing in my old neighborhood. We'll see how that works out.
Wow, I've never done that. That sounds like it might be
I got to tell you, it is. So Jordan recently got into fishing a little bit. We did a little trip down to Florida not long ago. He's into it. And I used to do it with my grandfather. Not my dad, with my grandfather. So there's a little bit of that going on. Do you have anything special going on?
It's interesting. I've never done a tailgate, all right? I've never done a tailgate. I've been to one up at Syracuse University, but I've never done one. And I'm more, no offense to our listeners, I'm more of a Yankees guy than a Mets guy. But the Padres are in town at 1 o'clock tomorrow. And so I got like 8 or 10 tickets, and some family members were going to go. But do you have any recommendations? I don't know where to park, the best place.
I am not a Yankee guy.
Mets. I'm going to the Mets game.
Oh, I thought you said you're a Yankee guy.
I'm a Yankees guy, but I'm going to the Mets game.
The answer is I don't. I've never tailgated.
I've never been to Citi Field.
Really? Okay. But I only take the 7. I've never driven there. I don't think in my entire life. So, but I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. And the Mets are coming off a little bit of a mini. Not compared to our Yankee friends, but a little bit of a mini hot streak. But I
know if you're from Long Island and you're a Mets fan. If you're from the Bronx, you're a Yankees guy. Okay, let's get back to the.
There's a lot of people. I'm a Mets fan through and through.
So I'm turning to you for tailgating. Which lot do I apologize to tailgate?
Tailgating is a food thing. Look at me. I don't eat. I'm not an eating guy.
You really don't eat that much?
I am not. To me, it's funny. My brother Jason, who's a restaurateur, he's the food guy in the family. But no, if I could just every day drink something, get all the calories I need, I would probably do it. I know that's a shanda for some people to hear since they love food so much. It's just not my thing.
You are much more refreshing talking regular issues than when you put on that Democratic, no offense, dunce cap.
Left versus right.
With all these lies. It's much more refreshing to talk to you about regular issues.
Let me tell you a funny thing.
You give these Democratic
Before we get
lies.
back to this, it's funny you say that. Do you remember last week for a quick moment we did this funny thing where we switched positions and I pretended to be... I got 3 or 4 calls from people who says you should do a whole episode like that where you tried to say the most outrageous things that Dominic would say. By the way, I left off the rundown. Fanny, did you see that guy, her lover, her boo, give that interview on CNN?
I wasn't going to say anything to you about it.
Well, I wasn't sure our radio. It's hard to describe on the radio. Why don't you do it a little bit? Explain it.
It's why I say you got what I need.
But explain a little bit.
They say he's just a friend. They say
what's his name?
Just a friend. Nathan Wade.
So Nathan Wade.
He got caught in his... See, I was trying to give you an out because I like you. I was not going to bring up
Dominic,
Nathan Wade.
I couldn't figure out a way to do it on the radio because it's a TV thing.
I'm going to do it
All right,
now.
go ahead. Go. Set it up. Set it up.
He got caught in his lie. He's sitting there with Caitlin Collins, CNN, and Caitlin says, "So,
when did it start?
When did the relationship start?" And he tries to.
He starts hemming and hawing.
It's all right. He starts hemming and hawing. And then the lawyer walks over. He says,
No, it's worse than that. Hold on. Let's tell it right.
Okay.
He, out of the corner of his eye, when you watch on TV, by the way, I would encourage you all to get this.
Right.
Out of the corner of his eye, he's hemming and hawing because this is the big question. When did it start? Because the question is, did it start before, during, or after, whatever it is?
The question is, was fine, he's lying.
Well, okay, but I'm saying, but the question is about when it started. And so he starts answering, but not giving an answer. And then you see his eyes dart to the side.
Right.
He says, I'm getting a hand signal.
Right.
He takes off the microphone, and they keep the TV running.
The lawyer walks in and takes off the mic.
Oh, my, well, consultant apparently.
Or consultant, whoever. And then they go in the corner.
Dominic, can I ask you a 64,000? Why do you agree to that interview if you don't know the answer to that question? It's insane.
Because he thinks he's slick, just like you and the rest of your Democratic buddies.
These guys can't both.
That's why. That's why.
They're killing me, these two.
He thought, see, I honestly, Anthony, I wasn't going to bring it up. Because it's so embarrassing, Fonnie. She's such an embarrassment.
Well,
as a district
this
attorney.
is her boo.
No, and I'm glad you finally got it. Her boo.
Anyway,
the tape is horrible.
Oh my God, it's the worst.
Horrible. So,
and it is consultant malpractice to put him in that position. Why do you agree to that interview if you don't have an answer ready with that question?
And then Caitlin Collins follows up again on when did the relationship start, and he will not.
Well,
answer the
to
question.
give her credit, give CNN credit, and I don't watch them very much. They left the camera running. He unplugged his microphone.
And she looked like she was pissed.
Well, she's like, what is going on here? You agreed to an interview. You obviously, and I'm going to ask this question. All right, let's move on to another thing that we actually may agree upon.
Okay.
A terrible video emerged this week, and they're almost coming out every week, of some protester. Always, it seems, a pro-Palestinian protester. You never see pro-Israel protesters doing outrageous hate speech. You always see it's the pro-Palestinian side. Anyway, it's a subway train at Union Square, and the camera catches this guy who's organizing his fellow revelers. Any Zionist, if I get the story wrong, you did it all week. You did a really great job with it. Any Zionist on the train, raise your hand. First of all, if I would die to be on a train like that so that I could say, I could raise my hand. But it was almost as if they were, no one did, but the effect was the same. It was like if someone would have stand up and said, any black people on the train, or someone stand up and said, any Asian people on the train, or anything else. And just so our listeners understand, when someone says is they're a Zionist is someone who believes in Israel's right to exist as a sovereign state. So that means that 90% probably of New York are Zionists.
Yes.
Okay?
And proudly.
Right. And so now the controversy is basically, what do you do about this? And I don't know, I've listened to your show all week. You've done an amazing job. Why don't you summarize, and then I'll say what I think. I mean, we agree it's outrageous. The question is, what do you do about it? And a lot of people have focused on the fact that these people all are wearing masks. And now one of the proposals out there is saying, hey, the same reason we don't let people wear hoods like they're KKK, we should not let people do hate speech while they're wearing masks and have no accountability. What do you think about that?
That's exactly what should happen in terms of no mask, but then it becomes an issue of accountability. But I say let's do it and give the police the permission to be able to make an arrest if you're saying inflammatory things and you have on a mask. Let's give the police the authority to do something about it. But this, with all due respect, Anthony, this is one of the issues I'm talking about Democrats and how you guys are soft on crime. Because this should have been cracked down on a long time ago.
Which part of it?
The hate speech at these rallies.
Yeah.
You and I both know if they were yelling the N-word or any N on this, it'd be shut down in a New York minute or against the gay community.
Well, anti-Semitic, racist, anti-gay speech is not against the law. You're aware of that, right? People are going to be able to say that. But here's what I always point out. The rights of my fist end at your nose. I do have some rights, but at a certain point, does it become fighting words? Does it incite to violence? And if you're in a crowded subway car with the doors closed and someone says like you said, pick a word. But the problem with the police is going to be, though, how do the police make the problem with the mask thing is going to be the same. Like, we opened this Pandora's box with the mask when we all were wearing masks during COVID. Now what do? Do you say, maybe what they do is they say this, the same way we have a right to ask for your identification, and if you don't reveal it, we can take you downtown and give you a dress appearance ticket.
Right.
It should be the same with the mask. If you refuse to reveal your identity, we can take you downtown and take some pictures of it. I don't know.
I agree.
I mean, it's very hard to do, to make, but the bottom line is this, and I say this, if you are someone that supports the Palestinians' rights or believes that Israel is doing the wrong thing, totally cool. But these people that are now speaking on your behalf, and when people among you are throwing red paint on the front of people's doors. People among you are saying on subway trains, if you're a Zionist, raise your hand, as if they're going to get punished for that. That's a problem. And you don't see, I want to reiterate this, you don't see the pro-Israel side doing that type of thing.
You don't.
You absolutely do not.
And like Governor Hochul said, you have no idea what these people are about to do next.
Correct.
When they ask you, they could pull out a gun. You don't know what they're going to do. Bottom line is, and I think we agree, you're right, you set this up, this is something that can't be tolerated.
Well, and I want to remind our listeners something else. There's assault and battery. The assault part can just be making someone feel for their lives or feel for their well-being based on words. But these are tough issues, man. The Supreme Court has said that the KKK can march through Skokie, Illinois by a 9-0 vote of the Supreme Court. This is not a question of someone's right to be an ass. This is a question of whether you have a right to be on a train and feel safe in your own person. And just the same way I would have loved to be on that train, I know a lot of people are probably on that train.
What would you do when there are 20 protesters and it's just you, yourself, and I?
Listen, I know, mate. Well, you're saying I saw that video, and the first thing that came to my mind is I wish I was on that train. Now, maybe I won't. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
What would you have done?
I would have raised my hand. I would have said, you got one right here, pal. And who knows if that would have put me in danger. But the whole point is that we're now reaching a point where, look, I've said this in many different contexts. I say this on my show all the time. People have a right to be wrong. They have a right to say stupid things. A lot of these protesters don't know what they're doing. Fine. But their right to have a protest ends at my right to feel safe in my own person, and that's where it's crossed over. And if someone is listening and they're not really sure, they've heard things on both sides, look at where the two camps are. One camp is threatening violence, shutting down the Brooklyn Bridge, throwing red paint as if it's blood, protesting outside a memorial for the Nova concert, and the other group is wearing Israeli flags and putting up posters for hostages. That's the difference.
Let's see if you agree with my idea. Obviously, you can't turn them loose, but to these such protests, I really believe the K-9 units should be there.
The problem, look, we have spent tens of millions of dollars as taxpayers for people that were rounded up and treated as a group for things that individual bad players were doing. We can't treat protests. Protests are going to happen in New York City. And when if I ever would have become mayor, dealing with protests, our cops are very, very good at dealing with them. They keep them moving and everything. But if you're going to leave a protest and throw a brick through a window, we come down on you like a ton of bricks. If you're going to be in a protest and you're going to threaten someone or threaten a police officer or not listen, we have to learn to separate the wheat from the chaff. I don't believe in rounding up 1,000 people on a protest on 3rd Avenue and throwing them all in prison. I don't believe in that either.
Okay, so Mayor Weiner, what would he have done in this situation?
Well, look, what I think that it has been true for the longest time, that one of the reasons why these anti-Semites, why these racists, why they hide behind masks is they don't want the accountability for the words they say, okay? Exactly. And so one of the checks we have as society is no one wants to be revealed as an anti-Semite. They want to quietly be an anti. Look, the other day there was a fellow who was yelling the Nazis should finish the job. At least that guy didn't have a mask on. We all got to find out who that is, and now we know that guy is a creep. Okay? I think that the police are endangered by these masks because people are concealing their identity and getting brazen about what they're doing because they think they won't be found. And another thing is, we live, for better or for worse, and I think by and large for better, we live in a surveillance state. There are cameras everywhere. Those are anti-crime cameras that are being rendered moot. And so I think. All right, let's move on to stuff that maybe we don't agree upon as much. Merrick Garland found in contempt of Congress because he doesn't want to turn over the audio tape when they already turned over the transcript of the interview that Joe Biden. You guys just want to impeach anyone. You want to impeach Mayorkas. You want to impeach Garland. The guy, take yes for an answer. And it is ironic to me
Mr. Weiner, you're ignoring the fact that Mr. Garland may be the Attorney General of the United States, but he's not the president. He does not have the authority to withhold these tapes. It's called stonewalling. It's called that he's trying to be an aide in the Biden re-election campaign. The public has every right to hear those tapes. Garland won't release them. The Biden administration...
They released the transcript, though, right?
You can read it. The Biden administration won't release them because it shows just the type of president that we have on a mental
I think it's funny,
level.
by the way. I think it's funny that suddenly everyone's all excited about, oh, my goodness, he's not responding to a subpoena. Did Jim Jordan respond to the subpoena of the January 6th committee? Nope.
You know what?
Did McCarthy? By the way, did Donald Trump
what?
ever appear before Mueller?
Okay, wait. Well, are they the Attorney General of the United States?
They're the chairman of the committee that's enforcing this.
No. Are they the Attorney General of the United States?
They are not.
Okay. End of story.
I had to tell the full story since I don't know.
It's stonewalling what Merrick Garland is doing.
Merrick Garland executive privilege has been around since the day of the flood. By the way, the committee asked for the transcript and got it.
Okay. No.
Why do you want to hear the audio so badly?
Because you know, just like I know, just like everybody within the sound of our voice, it's one thing to read something. It's completely different to actually hear it yourself. And you know now we're just a few months out from the election that it will make President Biden look awful.
Do you think it'll make his awful?
Wait, do you think, would you release the tapes?
I would release the tapes.
You would?
I would.
Okay, all right.
I would release the tapes, but you guys are phonies. You say you believed in these subpoenas, and then they themselves don't follow them. Jim Jordan, the very guy who's the chairman of this committee.
See, look at what you want to focus on. Go ahead.
No, I want to be consistent. I want to be consistent. Right. Here's the thing: if there's one consistent thing about Republicans, is they're inconsistent. They never stick.
And what are Democrats?
Democrats, look, they say we believe in the rule of law. By the way, executive privilege was applied by Donald Trump about 400 times when he was president.
Democrats believe in the rule of law.
Yes, continue.
Why do we have all these outrageous crime incidents in New York?
What outrage? You mean like high-profile crime has been around since crime has been?
Okay,
yeah,
but it's happening more and more and more.
It happens all around the country.
You stand here with a straight face.
Happens all around the country. More crimes per capita. More crimes per capita in Republican areas than Democratic areas.
Okay, Mr. Weiner, can we focus on where our audience is right now?
By the way, our audience is 130 countries, and we're coast to coast.
You're correct, but I'm talking about...
And by the way, congratulations to you. I understand that you're in syndication. Your 3 o'clock show is now available across the country.
Well, thank you. It's very kind
Dominic Carter, a household name across the country. You should bring me with you. I should hook myself to your wagon.
And I wouldn't mind that if you were honest on the issues. And didn't just do the Democratic talking points.
I'm doing the left. I'm on the blue side of this thing.
Right,
I'm doing the left.
And I'm on the red, but I'm honest.
You're inconsistent. You're an honest. Look here, Dominic. Let me. You have a difficult position that you're in. You have to defend the biggest group of yahoos on earth.
Wait. Okay, we got to take a break.
We'll be right back with more Left versus Right after this. So welcome back to Left versus Right. Anthony Weiner left, Dominic Carter on your right. Dominic, the second greatest debate is going to start in just 12 days. Trump v. Biden, they're used to watching us. It's going to be hard for them to compete. What do you think is going to go on in this debate? By the way, I predict within 12 days, Donald Trump comes up with some lame reason to back out. That's what I think.
Why in the world would Trump back out? How many B-12 shots is the president going to get in advance of this debate?
I think he's going to be rip-roaring to go.
And how many hours of sleep? I hope
he is going to be ready to go.
Did you see what happened with the Italian
Prime Minister that was the most phony thing ever. Did you see the full video? You hope you're not just watching the New York Post and Rupert Murdoch, my brother. Look at the video. He's going. There's another parachutist that had just come down close by, and he was saying hello to him. Anyway.
Oh no! Not just anyway. Okay, so you were saying hello to them, right?
Yes.
You were saying hello to them, right?
Yes.
That's what you just said. That's what you said. How come none of the other world leaders were over there?
Because he was closer to that other guy.
But
you can see the video. Anyone who wants to go find the actual video.
Mr. Weiner, how come none of the other world leaders were doing what he was doing?
I hate doing video stories on the radio, but to the rightmost of the camera was a group of guys that had landed. There were a parachutist who landed in front of most of the people. Joe Biden turned to his left and walked. Now, the New York Post and Rupert Murdoch and Sinclair all edited the picture so you can't see where he's going, so it looks like he's wandering off. He was acknowledging another parachutist. And this is a phony issue. On the debate stage, there's going to be none of this.
Were there any other world leaders acknowledging the same person
No.
as a parachuter? Okay, and did the Italian Prime Minister, I think the Italian Prime Minister, did she or did she not touch him on the shoulder to guide him back?
She touched him on the shoulder and said, "What about this guy?" And he turned around and said hello to that guy, too.
Right.
By the way, if you want to talk about snafus, have you heard all this about batteries and sharks that I just played on my show? Donald Trump going on for 1 minute and 18 seconds about what would happen if he's on a sunken boat. Should he electrocute himself or jump in with the sharks? What is with this guy in Milwaukee as a hellhole? What is with this guy saying Nancy Pelosi and him should go out? You know, your guy, when he's standing on stage, it is like listening to my drunk Uncle Irving at Thanksgiving. Your guy is demented. If you want to talk about comparative, they're both too old to be president. I've said that 1,000 times, but I'm not so sure in the debate. I would not be thinking Joe Biden is going to do a lot better because at least he's not wandering off talking about craziness.
When's the last time your guy held a campaign rally in front of the public? Tell me when. When's the last time, Mr. Weiner? Tick-tock, tick-tock.
Okay, his last campaign. His last campaign.
Right. So in other words, he hasn't done so in a
Well, he hasn't really had to because he got elected. He got elected president.
Say whatever you want about Trump.
He got elected president.
At least Trump is out there. Trump speaks from the heart.
You know what's funny about Donald Trump's rallies? If you watch the people behind him trying to follow what the heck this guy is talking about, and have you seen the videos of people pouring out of there after 45 minutes of him ranting and raving? Did you hear the reviews that he got when he went to Washington and returned to the scene of the crime that he committed on January 6th? How these Republicans.
Whoa. The scene of the crime.
Yeah, he's accused of 41 crimes.
Okay, Mr. Weiner, that's ridiculous.
Well,
anyway,
we're going to go to trial and find. Oh, you don't want to go to trial. I wonder why.
Mr. Weiner.
I wonder why everyone's so afraid of Donald Trump going to trial on those things.
Mr. Weiner.
Try to overturn the results of an election. You should be outraged by that, Mr. Law and Order.
Mr. Weiner, with all due respect to the President of the United States, at that debate, Trump is going to mop the floor with Mr. Biden.
All right, what do you think his best issues will be? Immigration will be a good issue for him, probably?
For Trump, immigration, crime, migrants.
Crime is down. Crime is down.
Excuse me.
Inflation. Gas prices are so low right now. What are you talking about? Did you see the inflation numbers that just came out?
Wait a minute. Did you just say gas prices
inflation
are way down? Wait a minute. Did you just say
we have deflation?
Mr. Weiner, gas is $3.75, almost $4 a gallon.
You know,
what
the last month on that inflation was actually negative in the last month. It is now 3.3 over the last year. That's perfect.
And then once you
energy prices have left this.
You brought up gas, and once you realized that skeleton slipped out your mouth, you tried to pull it back.
Energy prices are cheaper.
Look at the price of gas.
Imagine what
it is in California.
Energy prices are down over the last 3 months.
Mr. Weiner,
of all types.
Mr. Weiner,
the only things that are
after the president released
he
didn't release it.
He sold low. He sold high and bought low. Are you kidding?
Mr. Weiner, come on.
We made $600 billion on that transaction.
Mr. Weiner. Let's talk about something else because your
I kind of like this. The economy is a good subject for me.
Your ship is sinking on this issue.
Yeah. Okay.
So what? Okay, wait a minute.
How about should we talk?
Wait.
You think Donald Trump?
You asked me what Trump should talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
What in the world could Biden at this debate possibly talk about?
I'd like to go back to.
Sense?
How about job creation?
Come on, Mr. Weiner.
How about that? How about that Donald Trump is the only president in history to lose jobs, and Joe Biden has had more average job creation than any president in, wait for it, history.
Okay.
That's a good one. What about immigration? I think Biden should lean into immigration because here's what he should say. He say, hey, Donald Trump, you said in 2019 you didn't have the tools to enforce all the laws and went to Congress and said, give me more tools to enforce the laws. And they wouldn't do it for you. I finally got them to agree, and you stopped the deal. How do you feel about that, Donald Trump? Don't you want to change the laws around immigration? See what he says. Build a wall. I'm going to build a wall, and the Mexicans are going to pay for it. How did that work out?
Well, Mr. Weiner, wait.
By the way,
was that your impersonation of me or Mr. Trump?
I don't know. I don't. I don't do
which
either. But let me ask you something. When Donald Trump was president, did he build a wall? Did I miss it?
Wait. When you wake up in the morning, and you brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Do you think of what bad things you could try and create in your mind about Donald Trump?
No, I'm the other way. I love my country. I don't think my country is a hellhole at all. I think it's doing quite well. You think it's a hellscape. I don't. I think I love my country. I think it's amazing people. I think it's doing well. It's been through a lot of challenges, but at least it doesn't have a crazy person running it who's trying to undermine democracy who got impeached twice.
Right. Instead, we have DAs that ignore the law, let the criminals walk and do whatever they want. Finally, we'll
have DA races some other time. We have a presidential race coming up. Let's talk about that. I am proud that I don't have a president that was impeached twice. I'm proud I don't have a president that lost jobs. I'm proud I don't have a president who says drink bleach when we have a healthcare scare.
Okay, Mr. Weiner, that is ridiculous. Some of our listeners get upset when I call you Mr. Weiner. Anthony, that is ridiculous.
That's not disrespectful, Mr. Carter. That's just we're just...
I agree, but they take exception.
You can call me anything you want, my man.
Delusional. Good guy.
I walked into that. That's true. Okay, good.
Good guy, but delusional. Delusional. Because do you know how refreshing it would be if you were ever honest?
Wrong show. First of all, I'm honest all the time, but it's the wrong show. All right, we have time for one more issue.
Okay, one more issue.
It's pretty controversial.
Okay.
So I want you to dig in for me here.
Okay, go ahead.
Every July 4th, there's a hot dog eating contest, not a wiener eating contest. I want to point that out.
Okay.
And our flag bearer, our national flag bearer, is Joey Chestnut. He is a world record holder.
Right. I'm the
hot
wrong
dog
guy
eating.
to talk about this with.
You're not a hot dog guy?
But
Joey Chestnut was banned.
Who sits there throwing down 100 hot dogs,
I admit,
75 hot dogs, and who cares? But go ahead.
Well, I don't want to keep doing the issue if you don't care. This is supposed to be a lighthearted one.
No. I lots of issues I want to do you don't care about because you sit up here and lie all the time.
Hold on a second.
Go ahead.
This is now the second week in a row.
Truth. Go ahead.
Or maybe the third week in a row, I have tried to end on a unifying high note with something more lighthearted. But if you want to not talk about Joey Chestnut, we don't have to.
No, let's do it.
All right, Joey Chestnut was banned. Why? Because he entered into a contract with a plant-based meat company.
Right.
Seems contradictory to me, kind of like almond milk. I've never heard of milk that...
It seems like a contradiction to
seems
me.
like a contradiction. But he was banned for this. I think it's outrageous. I think we should all join together, Democrats and Republicans, say, let Joey Chestnut shove hot dogs down his throat. What? Don't stop the very best. And I don't mind pointing out, he happens to be an American. This is a July 4th celebration, and it's an offense to anyone named Weiner, anyone named Chestnut, anyone named Carter. We should let this man be in the contest.
And this is what you want to talk about.
I'm looking for this. I'm looking for coming together moments.
Okay, well, if you're looking for coming together moments,
what can we pick one?
Okay, here's one we can agree on. Just admit that Trump got a raw deal. Can you do that in court?
In what?
In court.
I'm so surprised you want to keep talking about this court case.
Because I just want to know, when are you going to be
raw
honest?
Deal from who? From who do you think he got the raw deal?
He got a raw deal from Alvin Bragg.
Who prosecuted? Did he get a raw deal from the jury? The jury did their job, right?
He got a raw deal in terms of the venue where he was tried.
He was tried.
Oh, that's a good question. Explain this to me.
Go ahead.
Why is it Trump gets tried in New York, but Hunter Biden gets the home turf of what?
This is his home. He lives here. He lives in Trump Tower. And this is where he did the crime. If you're ever traveling through the country and you travel through Indiana and you throw trash out your window in Indiana, you're going to get tried in Indiana for littering. That's the way it's been for every American. And by the way, Donald Trump, although he hates our country, he's just a regular American when it comes to the court system.
Oh, that's what you say. So let me try this another way. Is there anything negative? Let's stipulate this that you could say about Biden's reelection campaign?
I think Joe Biden and Donald Trump are both too old to be president.
No. That wasn't the question.
No, I want to make the point that I think that most Americans believe
that. But that's not
what
you want to waste my time talking about some damn plant-based hot dogs or meat.
You know what?
That
does it. I am never going to try to have a softball to end the show again. To heck with you.
So is there anything bad that you will say about Biden?
Anything bad I would say about Biden?
Yes.
I find him to be a terrible speaker.
I give you credit.
I mean, he doesn't say. I believe part of being a leader.
Here comes the cleanup. He doesn't articulate.
No.
He has a record. And
you're going to be embarrassed. You're going to be embarrassed. You're going to be embarrassed.
Go ahead.
You're about to be embarrassed.
Go ahead.
I think part of being a leader is being able to lead the country with your words, particularly today. I mean, famously, FDR was in a wheelchair. Now, could he do that today? No, but when he did his fireside chats, we all gathered around. When he did his For Freedom speech, we heard those words. In order to lead, you have to be able to pump it out. Now, because of his health, because of his age, because of everything. Now, there's another type of failure to communicate, and that's what Donald Trump does, which is saying crazy-ass things.
Here we go.
But that's what I say. What about you? What is anything that you don't like about Donald Trump besides he's terrible? Get a better makeup guy. He does, like, spray orange. Hire someone. You're a wealthy man. Hire a real makeup guy to put that orange crap on your face. You can see the borders on the side. He looks like the Joker, man.
So no matter what I said about Biden, you turn it around and flip it and come back to Trump.
Left versus right. Welcome to the show.
Well, if you're asking me, I guess
I'm paid here to be an advocate for the left.
No,
that's what I'm paid to do. And your guy's an embarrassment to our country, so it's an easy job to do.
No, we're paid to tell the truth.
Well, I don't know. On this show, to a certain degree, we sometimes, I'm not going to speak for you,
right?
We sometimes...
No, you just want to waste my time talking about
plant-based
meat and Joey Chestnut.
You are going to regret this day, pal. I am never going to do a playful thing at the end. I'm never going to do any of these things where we're coming up on July 4th.
Talk about Aaron Rodgers. Talk about the Knicks.
I'll tell you what happened.
Talk about that.
The Joey Chestnut thing was big news here in New York. That's all I can say.
Whoop-de-doo.
And to heck with you, I am not going to do any more softballs. Forget it. We'll go out of here bleeding from the ears every week. We'll never have any.
That's the way we're supposed to do it.
No, it's not. No, it's not. All right, so go ahead. You were going to do a thing about Donald Trump that you find problematic. No? Kind of like what I did with Biden. If you don't have to, I can do them for you.
No. Of course you could. Of course you could. But notice all you said is that he's not a good speaker. That's all you can.
What else do you?
What about his policies that are destroying America?
I don't know. I think he's been policy-wise a very good president. I mean, the cap on insulin, that
was a good thing.
The thing about making sure that computer chips get made in this country.
What about gas prices? What about food prices? What about that?
Look, I think that he has done a lot to get our economy back humming again after it was ravaged in the Trump years. I think he's done a good job at that. I think the economic data speaks for itself.
Inflation. Why didn't we have these food problems and these gas problems under Trump?
You did have these food problems and these gas problems under Trump. People were not consuming gas because they couldn't go leave the house, so gas prices were low. Yeah, that's why gas prices were very low. No one was buying it. There was a glut of markets. No one can drive their cars. You had inflation when people started consuming rapidly after COVID. But the question is, if you thought he was doing a bad job at 9% inflation rate, you've got to give him credit now that it's basically zero. It was zero the last month. We've only had 3.3 year over year. That's basically what it should be, about 3%. Inflation is under control. Now you can say, oh my God, it's gone up 71% since 1991. Yes, prices always go up. Every business wants their prices to gradually go up. But our incomes are also going up. Job creation has been off the hook. He's been a great president.
You should be the White House press secretary.
It's nice of you to say that.
Really. No. It's not a compliment.
Because
it's not a compliment.
That is a compliment. You say I'm very good at communicating Biden's positions.
No, what I'm saying is that no offense, that you are so full of bull that
you can't say those words together. You can't say no offense, you're full of bull.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's kind of like with all due respect, go to hell.
So I can't say them both. Okay.
You can. You can say anything you want.
Okay, so you're full of bull. All right. We'll wrap it there. Any more Joey Chestnut questions?
No, that was really it. Actually, Joey Chestnut.
I cannot believe, as popular as this show is growing, and you want to focus on some eating hot dogs.
You want to know what Thankless Task is? Thankless Task is doing the rundown for this show every week. That is a thankless task.
You do a good job.
You say that, and I said that you could have broken my hump about Joey Chestnuts an hour ago before we went on the air, but instead you wait for Saturday afternoon to hit me with it while we're on the air. Well, listen, it was really great spending some time with you. I wish you nothing but a great Father's Day tomorrow, and I think to all the fathers, yeah, absolutely. Let's go Mets.
Didn't tell me which parking lot to go to.
I didn't do that.
Hey, I have a griddle. Can I cook out there?
You can do it. You're Dominic Carter, man. You are a big star. You can do anything you want. If you see Dominic Carter, say hello for me. It's the Left versus Right. Anthony Weiner, Dominic Carter. We'll see you next week. Stay tuned for
Father's Day.
And stay tuned for Vinny Medugno.